Hi everybody, I'm Dale Fredericks. I'd like to welcome you back to Chapter 2 of the continuing saga of Samson, aka the colt with no round pin. This is not going quite as we planned it. Originally I had hoped to video the first ride on him. Unfortunately that day has come and gone, so we're going to try to just kind of fill in the blanks between then and now. The first video was about 2 weeks ago. I think I've worked with him about 10 times since then. So this is where we're at now. As you can see, well, I am still lunging him, by the way, and I have some additional equipment on him now. I have a snaffle bit on him, just a regular O-ring snaffle. I've got some side reins with elastic in them attached to my front cinch, and I also have what I call a cowboy overcheck. It's just made out of 2 pieces of nylon rope. They run down through a special ring here on the headstall and down to the O-ring of the snaffle. And I don't have any of these adjusted very tight. You can see he still can get his head down. He still has a little bit of freedom forward with his nose. And what we're just trying to do is we're trying to establish some parameters for him to work in, for him to get used to kind of going between the lines. And you'll find too, especially on a young horse, this will really help your lunging. They're always wanting to put their nose down in the dirt or look over here, over there. They're always distracted, so this will kind of help to keep their mind on you a little better. I've already lunged him to the left, so just for time's sake, I'm going to go ahead and lunge him to the right a little bit right now. Between the last time we videoed him and now, I continued to pony him, and of course I added the saddle with double cinches. Well, I might add, the first time that I loped him on the lunge line with the rear cinch, he did buck. He actually bucked 3 times during that session, and I was taught never to let them buck at all with any piece of equipment on them. And you see a lot of people nowadays, they'll just turn them loose and let them buck. I'm kind of in between those two, I guess. I kind of let him go that first day, and he was kind of wanting to buck in one spot without too much forward motion, so I kind of pushed him out of it with my lunge whip, and I just let him try it out. If he would have bucked the next day, I probably would have stopped him and got after him a little bit. So that's, I don't want it to become a habit, but it's kind of natural for them to want to check it out at first too. So that's kind of my feelings on that. He should be getting better at everything by now on the lunge line. You see how he's standing still a little better till I tell him to start. And I continue to lunge him all over the... Oop. Wait a minute, he's got a side rein in his mouth here. I continue to lunge them all over the arena for a couple different reasons. First of all, you're controlling them. You know, with your bumps and pulls on the halter, you're controlling where they go. So it's going to translate over to when you get on them. It's not going to be quite the same, but it will help. And the second reason I do it is it helps them get used to everything in this arena. You know, he might be scared of something over here, or he might be drawn to something over here. So I can get him through all that on the lunge line. And besides, it's a pretty good workout for me too. So I'm going to go ahead and trot him a little bit. If he gets too close to me, I'll kind of aim my lunge whip at his shoulder, and I'll just start moving him around the arena a little bit. Again, we're not going to do a lot of this right now, just for time's sake. Let's see if I can get him to lope a little bit. Picked up the wrong lead there. I'll just try it again. There we go. And at first, I find a lot of horses are hesitant to lope. So if you can just get a couple of strides, that's good enough at first. This horse, he's kind of wanting to stop anyway, so that's kind of a help. But anyway, I get where they can lope more and more. Now again, I mentioned this on the last video. Whenever I'm lunging them, I like them to stop straight. That's always a chance for me to turn him on his hindquarters. He should be getting a little better than last time, but I'm not really making a big deal out of it at this time. Just kind of getting the idea in his mind. You hear a lot of people talk about disengaging the hindquarters, but right from the start, I'm more concentrated on engaging the hindquarters. I like them to do things on their hindquarters, and most everything we do tends them to disengage their hindquarters. If you think about it, you know, you tie them to a fence and you're confining their front end. That's all they can do is move their hind end around. If you lead them wrong, the same thing. You're confining their head and teaching them to move around their hindquarters. So my focus is kind of on the opposite end. Okay, right now I'm going to take this equipment off of him, and I'm riding him with a bosal and a snaffle bit right now. The first couple of rides I put on him, I had this halter here. I put some reins on it, took the lunge line off, put some reins on it, and I just used that. I might add the first couple of rides, I just walked him. In fact, at first I would just take a couple of steps, stop him, and then